Welcome to SRG Insights, where we answer your questions about sales, sales management, and sales training. And today's question is...
Encore, CEO of IO Funnel, asks, often after dropping an email or LinkedIn message, we try to follow up with the decision maker by phone. In most cases, we're greeted by a gatekeeper who politely asks us to drop the decision maker an email. We rarely get a response. How would you suggest getting past the gatekeeper to talk to the decision maker?
Well, thank you for that question. And it's one I specifically appreciate because I think we've all run into it in the past. Gatekeepers have gotten very good at their job, which is protecting that key decision maker from the vendors and the partners and the salespeople who are calling on them every day. So of course they're going to say, send us some more information or shoot us an email. I'll make sure it gets to him or her. And I think once we're in that position, we've lost control of the conversation. So, there are a lot of suggestions out there that say, well, we should make sure we're in the driver's seat. Call them by first name. We should be presumptuous and call in as if we've already got the appointment, as if, of course, they're going to take our phone call. The problem is, I think most gatekeepers know all of those tactics, all of those drills. And in fact, we probably had them performed on us, and oftentimes they're pretty irritating to have somebody call us by first name or assume that we're just going to take the call. So I'd like to rethink that a little bit, and this goes to the compelling reason that decision maker wants to talk to you. And unless we've thought that through and we really have that in our mind before we call, I don't think we should expect that phone call to go through or for them to actually respond to our email or our voice message. So some of the things we might do to make that compelling case and create that interest is to provide a gift of content in advance. So maybe we've sent an article or a white paper and we're calling to follow up on that. I especially like the idea of sending them a letter, and maybe that's a handwritten note, or maybe that's a copy of an article with our note on top, so that when we're calling, we're saying, I'm following up on the letter I sent on September 15th that he should have received 2 days ago. Now that's a much more compelling and much more interesting way of capturing the interest. I think also an invitation. So I'm following up on the invitation that I sent on September 15th. I'd like to see if Tom is interested in responding or being part of this executive-only session that we're holding. If you have an article or a book that you've published, being able to send that in advance and then follow up, I think is another great way of getting their attention. So again, we're putting it in a context that the gatekeeper can't necessarily say no, because that information's already out there. They're going to be hopefully thinking to themselves, wow, is my boss, my decision maker, going to be upset if they don't get this information or if they don't get this request? This is so compelling that they probably want to take the phone call or at least be put through to have that conversation. So again, I think beyond some of those tips and tricks we may have heard in the past, we need to think hard about what's going to be compelling, what piece of interesting information or invite or intro can we make that's going to cause that person to take notice, to think about that opportunity, and to give us that opportunity for us to have the conversation, put the voicemail or the call through, and actually have a conversation with that person to see what's so interesting or what it is that we can provide. So those are some of the thoughts on how we get past that gatekeeper. They say just send an email. If we do that, realize you've lost control of the conversation. They're probably not going to respond. Let's give them a reason. Let's give them that compelling reason for them to actually want to take your call and return the message. Thank you.